The 2025 MotoGP season has entered its summer break, and the rest of the grid now faces a daunting truth. Marquez isn't just back. He's redefining what supremacy looks like in the modern sprint format. As the championship wrapped up its 12th round in Brno, the stats alone reflect complete domination. But this year's narrative is about more than just the numbers. It's a mission. Marquez isn't simply aiming for records. He's reshaping the record books. Out of a possible 444 points from sprints and full-length races so far, he has secured a staggering 381. That's 85.8% of the total, an unprecedented level of dominance. In this sprint-dominated era, Marquez has taken 8 Grand Prix wins, 11 sprint victories, and scored maximum points on 8 weekends. These aren't just victories, they're signals of supremacy to every competitor and manufacturer. Riding the Ducati GP25, Marquez has established his own elite tier. He's achieving all this with surgical precision. His crash tally this year is only 8. Half of what it was at the same point in 2024, and nearly 1/3 of the 2023 total with Honda. To put that in perspective, Johann Zarco and Joan Mir have already racked up 15 crashes each in 2025, while many struggle with unstable bikes. Marquez has found a level of harmony with the GP25 that allows him to push hard without overstepping. His mastery of the sprint format is a huge part of the season's story. From a total of 144 available sprint points, he scored 141. That's 97.9%. Even if only sprints counted toward the championship, he'd still be on top. But Marquez is just as formidable on Sundays. Even without considering sprints, he'd still be leading by 74 points. He's earned 240 out of 300 possible Grand Prix points and 80% haul, leaving his rivals gasping for air. Alex Marquez has been impressive on the older GP24 with Gresini, securing a Grand Prix win, a sprint victory, and several podiums to land second in the standings with 261 points. Still, he trails his brother by a whopping 120 points. Francesco Bagnaia's title hopes have stumbled due to inconsistency and trouble in sprint races. The two-time world champion is clearly uncomfortable under the sprint format, especially with the reduced fuel tank. Unlike Marquez, Bagnaia hasn't adapted well to the shorter distances, and 3 zero-point sprint races have damaged his campaign. If we looked at Sunday races alone, Bagnaia would be just a point behind Alex Marquez. But thanks to the sprint points, that gap stands at 48. The format now rewards complete weekend performance, not just Sunday heroics. Meanwhile, behind the Ducati title clash, Aprilia is quietly mounting a resurgence. Marco Bezzecchi has been their standout performer, claiming victory at Silverstone and podiums at Assen and Brno, keeping himself competitive in both formats. Fabio Di Giannantonio has emerged as perhaps the most consistent dark horse this season, with just 3 crashes tying Alex Rins and Miguel Oliveira for the fewest. He's maximizing his VR46 Ducati and has quietly climbed to 3rd in the sprint tonally rankings. An underrated but telling stat about his rise as a contender. Then came the revelation that stunned fans and competitors. In an interview with DAZN, Marquez confessed which rider had most influenced his MotoGP riding style. It wasn't Stoner, Rossi, or Lorenzo. It was Dani Pedrosa. I learned a lot from Dani Pedrosa, Marquez said. He was my teammate and taught me the most about riding a MotoGP bike. He explained that Pedrosa's physical limitations, his height and strength, shaped his riding. And Marquez tried to emulate that style, but with more strength and aggression. I tried to copy him because he rode my bike. Pedrosa may not have had the physical capacity to fully exploit his technique. Marquez absorbed that precision and combined it with his own fierce intensity, But it didn't stop with Pedrosa. Marquez said he learned race strategy from Valentino Rossi and the rhythmic hammer mode from Jorge Lorenzo. "You can't copy your rivals," he explained. "You can get closer to their strengths, but you still have to ride your own." What we're witnessing in 2025 is the result of that synthesis. Marquez has blended Pedrosa's finesse, Rossi's tactical brilliance, Lorenzo's consistency, and added his own unpredictable flair. The result is a new version of Marc. Marquez arguably the most refined and complete yet. When he switched to Ducati in 2024, many doubted whether his aggressive style would suit the more refined handling of the Desmos Adichie. Early signs were troubling. The 2023 GP23 proved difficult for everyone, especially Marquez. He crashed 24 times. That year, highlighting how Ducati's sensitive front end didn't align with his heavy braking style. But the 2025 GP25 has transformed his fortunes. While Bagnaia struggles with front-end feedback, Marquez thrives. The bike now matches his instincts. He no longer needs to ride recklessly to win. He's become a strategist, riding right on the limit without overstepping it. The proof is in the results: 8 Grand Prix wins so far. Just 6 more would tie his personal best of 13, set in 2014. If he maintains his form, he could match that at the Japanese GP and break it at Mandalika in Indonesia. He's also closing in on Rossi's record for most fastest laps in the Premier class. Rossi holds 76. Marquez is already at 70. And perhaps most poetically, Marquez could become the oldest modern-era MotoGP champion at 32. While still holding the distinction of being the youngest ever from his debut title in 2013, a career that's come full circle, defined by tire marks and pure adrenaline. One of the most astonishing changes this season has been his ability to manage risk. After 12 rounds in 2025, he's had just 8 crashes. At this point in 2024, he had 16. In 2023 with Honda, he crashed 29 times. The reason is clear with Honda. He had to push beyond the limit to be competitive. Now, the Ducati lets him control his pace rather than force it. His riding is smoother, his lines are more precise, and his body is taking far less punishment. Even with the title race still ongoing, he's spending less time in the gravel. With 10 rounds to go, the sky's the limit. 14-win season is possible. The fastest lap record is in reach, and he's already completed the most dominant sprint season ever, securing the title before November. Very possible. The only thing that might stop Marc Marquez at this point is Marc Marquez himself. While he's running away with the crown, the battle for second remains fierce. Alex Marquez has stepped out of his brother's shadow. With a GP win, a sprint victory, and 10 total podiums, he's now a legitimate title contender, not for the man leading the field. Bagnaia remains Ducati's poster boy. But his sprint shortcomings in 2025 have been damaging. He's calling for Dorna and the FIM to focus on improving circuit safety rather than altering the format. Bezzecchi is Aprilia's best shot at disrupting Ducati's dominance. And with riders like Di Giannantonio improving on satellite Ducatis, the 2026 season might see an even fiercer grid. Then there's Honda. Despite Zarco's miracle win at Le Mans and occasional glimpses of speed from Mir, the RC213V continues to demand too much from its riders. Its lack of engine power means riders must brake later and push harder, often leading to crashes. The return of Bruno has reignited discussion around MotoGP's traditional venues. Bagnaia emphasized the need to preserve classic tracks but also called for updates in safety, particularly in runoff zones and surface grip at places like Jerez, Mugello, and Barcelona. Marquez echoed those concerns, especially for Sachsenring. With Liberty Media now overseeing operations, There are growing fears that the heritage circuits might be replaced by new, market-driven additions similar to what happened in Formula 1. But for the riders, the essence of MotoGP still lives in tracks like Assen, Brno, and Mugello. And these tracks must evolve to meet the demands of modern machines. Marc Marquez's 2025 season isn't just about speed or records, it's about transformation. From the fearless rookie who turned heads in 2013 to the calculating, style-mixing veteran of 2025. This is the journey of a rider who took the best from Pedrosa, Rossi, and Lorenzo and fused it into a style that's uniquely his own. As we head into the second half of the season, history doesn't just loom on the horizon, feels inevitable. And somewhere, Dani Pedrosa might just be smiling.